Hi there, it's Mark here. I just wanted to guide you into this very special edition of the Dedicated to DLP podcast, ears only edition. This is part one of a discussion that I've had with Graham and Bernardo of the Disney Discord. And we go into all things past, present, and future at Disneyland Paris. And our discussion did go off on a tangent every now and again, but very interesting ones. So it became a 2-hour recording. Therefore, this is part one. And fear not, I will put up part two next week. So you don't have to wait 2 weeks. Have fun. Hello, people, pets, and other furry friends. Welcome to episode 202 of the Dedicated to Disneyland Paris podcast, the show celebrating Disneyland Paris where research is optional. Once again, we have been caught out on our lack of daily DLP park presence. And so we have to start this one with yet another apology. I'm sorry, but this is a segment that comes up quite frequently. So where's that jingle? Pardon. So if you listened to our last show, I said Deadpool had only appeared once at Avengers Campus in Walt Disney Studios. Boy, was I wrong. Thanks to Stuart from DLP Tips for Irish for pointing out that, in fact, Deadpool has popped up in Avengers Campus almost daily. See, if you don't go, you don't know. Apparently, they can't get rid of him, so that makes me personally very happy. Secondly, I reported some disinformation about Alice and the Queen of Hearts Back to Wonderland, which I would hereby like to rectify. The last of the shows of this, first outdoor extravaganza at Theatre of the Stars is in fact today, September 29th. However, as per official Disneyland Paris announcements, it will be back in spring 2025. Now, I know how frustrating it must be as a listener of the show to hear us say things when you're at the other end going, that's not true, because I'm exactly the same way when I see photographers on YouTube trying to explain video features that, they make absolutely no sense. So I would like to bring in some people who actually know what they're talking about. That's basically what I'm saying. We don't have Beth with us today. She's still on her way back from America. So in order to raise the knowledge quota significantly on this episode, this one will be a little bit different. I'm beyond delighted to be joined today by two Disneyland Paris fans who are not only extremely well informed, but also highly entertaining, and together have created an amazing community on Discord, the platform known as Discord, and it's called the Disney Discord, of course. The first hails from Scotland and has been reporting on Disneyland Paris as DLRP Roundup since 2013, when he actually wrote the following sentence on a review of an old Dedicated to DLP podcast. He writes, Marvel comes up, and my only thought on it would be a full Avengers Initiative land for Walt Disney Studios, albeit one of the biggest lands they'd create on the scale of Fantasyland. The possibilities are absolutely endless, and the rides can be done in a much better way than Universal's butchered attempt of sticking cardboard characters out the front of the rides across in Florida. No licensing issues to speak of in Paris. I like how that has come round. He is therefore a visionary who really needs to get a cut from Disney on that whole Avengers Campus idea. Welcome, Graham.
Hello, thank you for having me. What a big build-up and what a suggesting that there may be some knowledge. That was a guess 10 years ago, and I guess it came true. There will be many more guesses today, and hopefully they also come true.
Amazing, and of course now we're also reporting on the future Universal adventures in the UK. So you're even commenting on that. Very happy to have you with us. Amazing. You told me just before we started recording that there was another connection with
there is
dedicated to DLP.
So I appeared as a guest on Dedicated to DLP, and it would have been this week 10 years ago that I done it. So it was on the 3rd of October of 2014, and I was reporting live from Disneyland Paris to, at the time it was Stephen Mark, on the Halloween season and how it had launched. So I'm here literally 10 years on the same week. That's quite impressive.
It's amazing. That is absolutely not planned. And I like the fact that we got together now and a 10th anniversary.
You should have taken credit. You should have just said it was planned, that this had been mapped out far in advance.
No, because then Stuart from DLP Tips for Irish would point that out to me. No, you did not plan that. No, we love you, Stuart. We love you. Okay, the second is a Portuguese theme park fan who started writing well-researched articles on themainstreetnews.com in 2021. Correct me if I'm wrong. Followed by an excellent docu-series of videos on YouTube. His in-depth updates are always concise and eye-opening. He clearly has big love of all things theme parks and how they are developed. And his very active website, frankly, puts both of ours to shame. Sorry, Graham, I just checked on yours.
I don't think mine's been updated in a year.
A recent video discussed the history of Le Visionarium at DLP's Discoveryland, and I would encourage any Disney executive to watch and learn from the mistake of discontinuing that attraction. Welcome to the show, Bernardo.
Hello, Mark. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. It really was very nice. And I just want to say, Graham, what a visionary. I had no idea you truly predicted Avengers Campus like that. So, wow, congratulations.
No, congratulations to you, Bernardo, because I watch your videos and learn so much. And I watch them before we talk. I literally watch your videos to stay up to date. One of the problems you've got, and you guys will know this, is you set off, and when you launch these sort of initiatives and you have a podcast and things, you set off thinking you've got all the time in the world, and then very quickly your entire life gets in the road of that, and someone else comes along and does a better job. So I'm monumentously happy to be with people who actually put an awful lot of time into this.
As much as we can. No, but it's true, Bernardo. I don't know where you find the time, because you're not only writing the articles, you're doing these videos, you're researching them as well. Plus, I think you go quite frequently to DLP.
Yeah, I try to, yes. So
from Portugal, right?
From Portugal, yeah, every single time, and I'm going next week as well to try everything Halloween. So I'm very excited and looking forward to that. But thank you so much, guys. Really, I try to make a weekly video. Sometimes I fail, but normally I try to put out once a week, and I love doing it. And you know, when you love what you do, you're not really it's not much work. Yeah, I guess the secret is just love what you're talking about, and that's definitely happening here.
You're basically saying that we lack love.
No, I'm not. Okay.
Give us more love, listeners. We have a lot of love from our listeners here, but that segment is not going to be part of this show. But I'm very happy that both of you managed to join me today, and we're going to do a great edition of DLP Past, Present, and Future. But before we get into that, I'd just like to congratulate you on the Disney Discord community. I mean, what a just fun and amazing and friendly place that has become, with some people in there whose expertise just blows my mind on certain topics. It's just like, how do they know all of this? For those listeners of ours who are not familiar with it, can you just give us a quick introduction to Disney Discord and how you two decided to set this up together?
Yeah, sure. So basically, our idea was, well, Graham came to me and he said, we saw Twitter was kind of in a rough shape, and with Elon buying Twitter and all the questioning and behind that, will it stop working? Will Twitter die? And we just created some place where we could, gather some of our friends from Twitter and accounts and creators that we've followed for so long. We didn't want to miss that, if Twitter fell.
Yeah.
And so we just decided to create the Disney Discord podcast. The Disney Discord. And it was just a place where we basically welcome everyone, and we are super open for sharing stuff. And I think that really created a safe haven for everyone that wants to talk Disney and theme parks, basically.
Yeah, I think adding on to that, the big thing we set out to do with Disney Discord was Twitter was in peril. There was accounts leaving the site. There were accounts that were shut down. I don't know if either of you remember that, but there was a whole lot of change. And there was a worry that the little micro communities that we were in, specifically the Disneyland Paris one, would probably cease to exist. So we quickly tried to shift to another platform that seemed kind of open. And our one key thing on it was on Twitter, everyone can share their own things. So, for example, everyone puts their own information up, everyone gets to do their own reviews, everybody's nice and open. And we thought we wanted to make sure we'd done that in Discord. So there was nothing, it wasn't like us two are going to speak out to everybody and it's our Discord. It had to be a Discord for literally anyone to come in and share whatever random nonsense they wanted about Disneyland Paris. And one of the key things we wanted in it is not that there are some people who take Disneyland Paris very seriously and take Disney very seriously, and if you get minute details wrong, they get very, very upset.
Yes.
So one of the key concepts that we have is we create a bunch of fake internal rumors that we just spread amongst ourselves. Now they're all very funny and they're all very obvious most of the time, but we kind of do them and they become kind of funny. So every now and again I'll tell everybody, oh, Fantasmic is confirmed for Walt Disney Studios. Now Fantasmic is absolutely not confirmed for Walt Disney Studios, but I reiterate this often enough that's kind of to show everyone can contribute. Please give your ideas, and any sort of little ideas you've got that might come on to become something. Like I said 10 years ago, there will be an Avengers campus.
Yes.
We should talk about those things, but it's always meant to be fun, and it's not meant to be one of those places like, we've discussed this, please search. Please do not bother us with your uninformed nonsense. I would rather we had a full community of people having fun and sharing whatever tiny little slithers of rumour they've got, because that's a lot more fun. And you get to have really cool, interesting discussions. I mean, Bernardo's got entire videos where you can go into like Discovery Land and see where, there could be a Star Wars expansion, and Grogu's pod coaster, which is another just invention off the Discord that we keep saying is confirmed. But
Is
again,
it though? Is it though?
Well, I mean, let's say it has
it's like
some
a semi-rumor,
basis in
isn't it?
truth.
It takes on a life of itself, because
it's
Discovery's
like a
edge
myth.
is now like it's kind of ingrained. It's like almost a done deal, isn't it? The way we talk about it on Discovery.
The odd thing is, to someone who isn't in the community and then joins it, they may just think we're all mad. Like all these mad people are talking about confirmed projects that nobody else has any idea of. There's fully mocked up artwork. There's videos. There's tweets. It's quite funny.
No, it was a lot of fun, because I think we got in touch with you just before the April 1st this year, and said, "Oh, we're planning on doing an episode, a podcast episode, where we're just going to put out, everything is going to be nonsense, but we're going to do it seriously." And so that's kind of where we started. Also, one of the items was Grogu's pod coaster. So that
I remember that. I listened to that episode. It was pretty funny.
See, you're already there creating the rumors that we're going to use for forever now. Until that project is delivered, and then the day there is Grogu's pod coaster, you're going to be able to take credit for that and say, "Look, we're visionaries."
In 10 years from now,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll
So
come back together.
I think having fun and doing that sort of thing, and you can see how it's kind of spawned. And I listened to your April Fool's episode, and it really sort of builds the community, and everybody has a bit more fun. And I think don't take it too seriously, anyone.
No, and I think we left it up because, usually, okay, people put out stuff on April 1st anyway, but we had so much fun putting that together that we just said, okay, we'll put it in the title. It's April 1st. People will realize it. But I think it's fun to kind of listen back to it, because, for example, with Alice in Wonderland, that show, nobody had seen it yet. We just got like little teasers about it, and Disneyland Paris in their press release said this show's going to be bonkers. So we thought, okay, let's run with it. It's going to have rock music. It's going to have whatever. So we pretended as if we had seen a secret preview of it, And then when the actual show came out, we were actually very close to
Yeah.
what it ended up being.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
no mistake. Disneyland Paris do read online, and they do take the ideas that they see and read, and I'm not convinced that some of them don't then go, "It's a really good idea. We should be doing that. Great, put that production tomorrow."
That's why we keep pushing for Grogu's Podcoaster.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they'll be here.
Exactly.
On that note, I think this is a good place to segue into DLP Past, Present, and Future, because we all love what has been in Disneyland Paris. We all like to discuss what is currently happening, and those rumors, they just keep coming because we don't always get the information we want from Disneyland Paris, so we make up our own. And that's the future. So let me just explain how this works. Each of us brings one topic specific to Disneyland Paris from its past, present, and future. We throw that into the ring and we present. We have a little discussion about it, basically. And it can be something about which you're passionate, curious, or just completely baffled. This is not a test of how much anyone knows, but more of a personal association with something that you feel deserves more attention, let's say. I would like to throw the first one out to Bernardo, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're going to
sure.
start with past. So, what is your past topic that you would like to
So,
talk about?
so basically, since I made a video about it a couple of weeks ago, I'd really want to bring Le Visionarium to the
Yes,
table.
excellent.
Uh, and so, yeah, if you're not familiar with Le Visionarium, here's a quick little introduction. It was an opening day attraction of Euro Disneyland, and it was a 360-degree circle vision theater in Discoveryland where it played the movie from time to time. And you had a magnificent animatronic that brought you back in time with his little companion friend Nine Eye. And it really was a spectacular attraction, which I've never been to because it was demolished before I was here,
Sadly,
basically.
yeah,
Yes, very sadly. And so it was amazing to really discover it on videos and articles that are available online, and it was amazing just making a video about it. So yeah, I think that's a nice little introduction to the ride, to the attraction that no longer is, and it's been since replaced with Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast. So that's the location where you could find Le Visionarium with the Timekeeper and Nine Eye.
exactly. And I was actually blown away by the amount of material that you found, because the community is very passionate about Disneyland Paris, and they do save a lot of stuff, like whether it be pictures or you actually have found a complete video, right?
Yes, I did. There's this amazing video which Cafe Fantasia actually
Hmm.
linked to me. It was so this I'm talking about Alan from Cafe Fantasia. He linked to me, and it was an Imagineer, an ex Disney Imagineer that posted the entire video of.
Ah,
So the whole thing, since from the beginning to the end, it's uploaded on I think YouTube, and it's amazing, and it's just really it really kind of shows the love is not only on fans but also the people that make these things, because he saw the attraction was no longer present and just decided to upload the entire video. So from I think 3 or 4 screens, there are 9 screens around you and 4 screens, so the main screens, they are fully uploaded on YouTube, and it's really amazing to watch.
it's
So thank you
excellent.
for, and huge thanks to everyone that made content about it and allowed me to basically discover this attraction that I couldn't otherwise.
I'm a big fan of Defunct Land. I'm sure you're aware of
Yes,
this YouTube
yes.
channel.
Hmm.
What's his name again? He's got a great name.
Oh, I don't remember, but I
Uh,
love his videos.
yes. It'll come back to me during the podcast, but that's one of the attractions that I don't know if he actually made a video about it, but I was very happy that you did, because it's definitely part of the whole vision. It's called Visionarium, but it's part of the whole vision of that original Discovery Land.
Exactly.
Parts, steampunk. It had Jules Verne was one of the characters in the film, and who was the other one?
A.G. Wells was also
H.G. Wells, played by
present.
Jeremy
Yeah.
Irons.
Exactly. And it was amazing because it really was like the spirit of Discovery Land. You saw A.G. Wells and Jules Verne, so these great visionaries of the past that pretty much are what inspired Discovery Land. So you'd hear them talk about time travel, where you were time traveling with them, and you'd hear the story about from the Earth to the Moon from Jules Verne, and you could go from the Earth to the Moon on the side, so
Space
with
Mountain.
Space Mountain.
Yeah.
It really was. It really brought the whole Discovery Land spirit to life. That attraction, and yeah.
Graham, had you ever managed to see this?
No, even I'm, funny enough, too young to have been on it. So it's all been historic for me to watch. Kevin Perger makes Defunct Land.
Thanks,
Exactly.
And
Kevin
he
Perger,
has,
yes.
he makes a fantastic series, but he's actually never done the Visionarium, I don't believe, and he's never done the Timekeeper, which was the sort of Magic Kingdom in Tokyo Disney version of this.
Exactly, because it went to other parks as well. It
did.
started in Disneyland Paris, right? That was
Yeah.
the first
Yes,
one.
it did.
And then they took it to Tokyo,
To Tokyo and
Walt Disney.
Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess I've never been on it, so, or been through the experience, so I've only ever seen it online in retrospect. So I'm a great believer in that we keep moving on, technology keeps moving on, and I think Circle Vision's probably it's probably done. But this is one of the wonderful ones, and Circle Vision's a great technology that I think that we're still in the infant stages of it, but virtual reality. I think that Circle Vision was that original sort of VR experience, and I
was,
think we're
yeah.
now moving into the sort of new VR where it's a lot more immersive. And I think that we're probably going to see not Circle Vision come back, but we're going to see AR or VR experiences that start to give you a different sense of those things. And I really hope that Disney, they're quite good at bringing things back. A lot of this stuff never goes away for good. So I think when you've got something like that and you have an entire attraction, it's something you can bring back very quickly, and it's something that you can do very easily in a slightly different format. I guess it all depends, though, on how it was originally filmed and whether or not they can upscale it, or if they would reanimate or things like that. But it's an interesting old attraction that a lot of people hold very close to their heart, very much like the original Space Mountain theme that people go absolutely nuts for within the fan community. That's just been forgotten about. I mean, the Visionarium is now gone, and we've got a shop, and we've got Buzz Lightyear. So
yeah, well, okay. I mean, that's they had to fill something like with IP. That's when was the last? When did it close, Bernardo?
The
That was
Visionarium
about 20
closed in
years ago now.
2004.
There you
Yeah.
go.
2004, right? So that's when they started filling attractions with various IP. That's when that whole drive started. But there's two things that I wanted to say before we move on to the next one about this. Where is the Timekeeper animatronic?
I
That's
don't know.
something that I would really like
I'd
to know, because I'm
love to
sure that they
know.
kept them like somewhere in a warehouse, like Indiana Jones style. Why didn't they keep that? Because it fits so well in the land. They could have definitely put it in a showcase, like where they have Eve at some place,
Yeah, yeah.
and what's his name,
Wally.
Wally and Eve. They could have put it even in a casing or something like that as a showpiece. So I would like to know where that is. If anybody knows, get in touch with us. And the second thing, what you're saying, Graham, about this experience of circle vision, the nice thing I imagine was that you're seeing this with a lot of people, this
Mhm.
360-degree film. The difference with VR or virtual reality is that you're putting on goggles so that you're disconnected basically from everybody else. But now, of course, there's other tech coming through with augmented reality glasses. So I could imagine that Disney, instead of giving you 3D glasses, hands out augmented reality glasses at the beginning. And then you can even have things flying at you and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be, but we'll leave that to future Imagineers.
Yeah.
Anything else that needs to be said on Le Visionarium before we move on?
Um, I think I could just end with you can still see and hear some small artifacts of Le Visionarium in the
Oh,
park.
true. Yes.
Yes, so in the Disneyland Railroad, when you're when you're arriving at Discoveryland, the music that plays is the amazing score from the attraction, which is
Hmm.
just gorgeous. And there's also the Nine Eye animatronic is inside Buzz Lightyear. Right in one of the first scenes, behind one of the set pieces, you can see she's back there on the wall, like a bit like in the dark. But if you look at the place at the right time, you'll see her, and she's always there with her 9 camera eyes. And I think it's just amazing that even it's not present anymore, the Imagineers left a little taste of what it was
A
in
little
the park,
portal
and I
to
think
the
that's lovely.
past.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Everybody do watch Bernardo's video on this on the Main Street News YouTube channel, because it's definitely part of DLP history, and it deserves to have its place in the history books. So, Graham, what do you have?
Oh, now I was getting that deep into the Visionarium that I was getting scared off by what will we delve into the past. I could be I could be very controversial, and we can do Space Mountain, but I feel as though it's been done to absolute death. So I think we're going to have to
Well, it's right next
leave.
door. I mean, it
Well, it
would
is,
fit.
but let's get out of Discoveryland, because I feel
Let's
that
do a whole podcast episode about Power Space Mountain. Yes.
well, if I start on Space Mountain, usually I'm like, I really don't think they're going to change the theme back. And then people go mad. They're like, of course they're going to change the theme back. What's wrong with you?
It's good for engagement. Yes.
I don't, I mean, my personal view, I do not see it. I do not see a world where they're bringing back an old non-IP.
Oh
But
no, you went and did it now.
I went and did. Well, you said you wanted engagement, so I'm giving you it. People will have me cancelled by the end of the podcast. It will not bother me. I've waited 10 years to be here. I'll wait another 10 years for episode 2. Look, what I would like to talk about, a topic from the past, which, that I think has gone neglected, is probably the parades. So Disneyland Paris used to stage fantastic parades, including a nighttime parade, which I know recently we've got a drone show. But I think I want to go back to some of those sort of the regularity of us changing the parade, because Disneyland Paris now, I think for nearly 10 years has had the same parade.
Oh yes.
And I think one of the things that Disneyland Paris do well when they really try. So for example,
You're talking about Disney Stars on Parade, right?
yes, Disney
Yeah.
Stars on Parade, which its precursor was Disney Magic on Parade. Like we've had the same thing rolling out for a while now. But they do such great parades. So if you look at the Disneyland Paris Halloween parade, it is spectacular in the sense that it's not a direct copy of the Magic Kingdom's Boo to You parade. It is done in its own whimsical sense, which is the Halloween Harvest. And then you've got other parades that Disneyland Paris do, like where the floats aren't the main attraction in it. So we've had I call it Ready for the Ride, but Bernardo, what is its real name? I get right for this every podcast I'm ever on.
I don't remember.
Ready for
It's
the
like
Ride is the song.
It's Dream and Shine Brighter.
Dream
Dream and Shine Brighter,
yes.
exactly.
And
30th
then
anniversary.
And then the other song, which I'm again really sorry, but someone put on Discord one day that the song was What the Monkey Sees in Me, and I've never been able to get that out my head, because it's what does it, yes, that's it. So you've got the French, and then you've got the English translation, which is apparently we've dumbed it down to What the Monkey Sees in Me.
Monkey sees in me. Oh.
So it's very good for catching the sort of tone of it. But that was a spectacular parade. It was a cavalcade. But again, it did not focus at all on the floats. The floats were, in fact, probably pulled out of storage in about 2 minutes. They were given some plexiglass colouring and was dragged out. Other spectacular parades we've had in the near recent past were the Jungle Book Jive. We've had spectacular things where Goofy. I mean, that was a parade and cavalcade that effectively Disneyland Paris threw everything and said nothing is off limits. And you had Goofy leading a big band out the castle down to the hub. You had the hub with confetti cannons and powder cannons going off every couple of minutes. You had dance troops. You had floats coming up Main Street. You had, it basically shut down the whole middle of the park for about 45 minutes while they held this. But the main parade of Disneyland Paris is now going on 10, 12 years old, and the one before it was only a slight upgrade to the new one. I think that one of the big things we're missing in Disneyland Paris, and one of the things I'd like to hear your thoughts on, is what do you guys remember as the best parades or the most memorable parades that you have seen or you've maybe watched on YouTube? Because if you've only gone the last 10 years, you've only seen the same one. And where you think
I can start. I'll say Fantillusion. I guess that parade was, fantastical.
When was that?
Everything. It was the night parade. So after Main Street Electrical Parade, this was the Disneyland Paris exclusive night
Oh, the
parade.
original Main Street Electrical Parade, yes.
No. Fantillusion.
No,
was,
Fantillusion after the original.
Exactly. It was its own thing, and it was an evolution, I'll say, of Main Street Electrical Parade, and everything was just so amazing. The floats were awesome. The music was gorgeous. I don't remember seeing it in person, so I'll say I've only seen it on video, and it's just amazing. And I'll say
it was an amazing parade. It ran all the way up until basically Dreams started, and then it overlapped for a tiny little bit.
Yeah,
so it gives its age. What about you, Mark? What parade jumps out at you as the one that...
Well, the funny thing is that I my past topic actually links in perfectly with this. So when we get there, you'll see. But it's my journey. I'm not going to use the word adventure, but my Disneyland Paris journey started basically in 2012, right about the time when Graham, you started writing or podcasting about it. And but that's when I brought my kids there. So I had actually been the only time before that I had been to the Disneyland Paris building site and went to the visitor center with my father, and I had not managed to go to Disneyland Paris until my kids were born. But I remember that particular parade quite well. That in fact was the Disney Dream. No, not Dream. Sorry, Disney Magic on Parade. Parade. And simply for the fact that I just looked at my kids and they were like, what is this? And I'm talking about 3-year-old, 4 or 5 years old or something like that, even younger. And just to see the magic in their eyes, like all the characters for them are just really just magic, and Peter Pan waving back at them. So that has still a place in my heart. And even though, there are oddities about these parades, because I since found out that, a lot of those floats were part of the parade beforehand, the Disney Dreams on Parade. That had been going on for quite a while as well. So, and then they added a couple of new floats and then a new song, which we'll actually be talking about afterwards.
It sort of developed as a parade. You've got, the reason I bring it up, and I'm not someone who actually stops too often for the parade, but the reason I bring up parades is whenever you talk to someone about what they enjoyed about Disney, or whenever you ask them what's the big difference for a Disney park for you, they always mention the parade. And it's taken years and years and years for any other park to kind of get that. And I know Universal put on all right parades now, but they still, nobody's ever managed to capture the magic and the sort of feeling and the immersiveness of a Disney parade. Disney were novel in doing it in the first place, and secondly, they kind of kept their lead. Like, I don't think anybody, I mean, do you know anyone, Bernardo, that's caught up with Disney on a parade? I don't think
No, I
so.
don't think so. I don't think so. Universal is, I guess, the closest one, but still, as you said, it's not the same thing.
No. So,
And for many people, that Disney electrical parade is like iconic. It's stuck with them since they were kids, and I actually saw that in Disneyland in Anaheim, and that tune has stayed with me ever since. So when they brought it back as the Disney Electrical Sky Parade, I was like, oh, yeah, that's amazing. That tune just
it's incredible. It's incredible. So the electrical parade, for whatever reason, has been the one that if you ask people what's your favorite night parade, almost everyone says the Main Street Electrical Parade, despite it being quite a basic parade. The floats, they roll fairly statically. There are, I think the dragon float does some sort of mist, but I don't think there's too much more technical in it. There's certainly
it's
not
so
fire.
beautifully lo-fi.
Yes, it's so lo-fi. That's a good word for it. It's lo-fi. It's it's pixelated before pixelated was a style. And I think the Main Street Electrical Parade has endured the test of time, and I think it always will. And you find that even when they done Paint the Night, which I think would be my favourite of the next generation parades, and that one ran out, that was pulled out in California. I think it's done both the parks in California now, actually. And Paint the Night is a spectacular, but again, they kept the original soundtrack in there. So there's little bits where Baroque Hoedown, so that's the original, the digital mix of Baroque Hoedown is the original song of the Main Street Electrical Parade. And it's irreplaceable. Like, it is a Disney classic now. I think everybody, when they hear it, they go, oh my God, something really cool's about to happen. And the drone show's cool. Don't get me wrong, the drone show is cool. I like the drone show. But it's not quite the same as the original parade.
Yes, exactly. It would be great if they could combine the two, like this actual parade going down Main Street and drones overhead.
That would be spectacular.
I am again excited though, because I think that we've not seen a new main parade. We've not seen a night parade. Disney's just getting around to doing it again. They've kind of just warmed up to the idea we need to be doing these sort of things.
Yeah,
they've commissioned one for the Magic Kingdom, which is always quite good because, despite, again, many fans hate this, but when these projects kick off, they often find that the expensive bit is coming up with the research and development to make the floats. It's the research and development on the new technologies. It's the concept. And I think they find actually building them is not the expensive part. So there's often a way that when one park gets a new night parade, another park benefits. So... Fantaillusion came across, I think it was from Tokyo. The Main Street Electrical Parade has basically done every park in existence. It's sort of been, there was two at one point. I actually think there was a third one, but they crisscrossed the Atlantic. They travelled between parks. So when one park gets a new electrical parade, often another park inherits an old one, or they build two. So yes. I'm very excited because I think it's something we've not seen in many years. Fantaillusion closed in 2012, so that's has gone on, 12 years since we've had a night parade. We've got the drone show. They obviously know with that drone show that people are desperate for that little bit of nighttime entertainment and are nostalgic for that sort of parade atmosphere. So I think we're going to see something. I think there's going to be something coming.
Amazing. Before I move on to my past topic, can I ask you, Bernardo, since when have you been going to Disneyland Paris?
Well, I've been going to Disneyland Paris basically since I was born. The love for Disneyland Paris runs in my veins. So basically, is what I'm saying. It all started with my grandfather. It passed down to my father, and now to me and my brothers. So it's something that's definitely on the family, and we used to go a lot as a family, and we still go. So basically, since I'd say the first time I went is like 2006.
Right.
A couple of years, 3 years after I was born, more or less. I'd say that's about it. Not that I remember, but
That's what I was thinking. I was like, do you remember that far back?
Well, that's
more
what
or less.
that's why I asked you, because the next thing that I'm going to play ties into that, and I want to see if that brings up any memories for you. Here we go. My friends, is Magic Everywhere. And if you have been to Disneyland Paris in 2012, that's what you would have heard at the parades. So Graham, you were talking about the parades, and that was the soundtrack for the Disney... I keep forgetting to say it. It's in the title. The Disney Magic on Parade.
Magic on Parade.
Parade. It premiered on the 12th of April 2012 with a rather amusing flash mob on Main Street with a huge purple carpet and a lot of cast members trying to do the synchronized choreography, including a chef in the second row who was always 2 steps behind. And subsequently, of course, during each parade that season. Let me fade that out.
I remember it well. I remember this well. So Magic Everywhere, and as it would, I remember when it would come over the speakers. Now I apologize in advance for butchering the French language, but I remember it being like Disney's Magic on Parade, and I was like, that's basically English. You know, we're you know, like that's just saying it with a French accent. I could have done that.
I love the announcements every time because they're doing them in different languages. And new Jongens en Meisjes, Disney on Parade.
Now, do you know what's really interesting about that? These are recorded. So the guy that does that one specifically that you've just done, and he does a couple other ones, he's a Disneyland Paris fan who was running a Disneyland Paris fan site and got invited to go and do the voiceovers because... I guess if you're a Disneyland Paris fan and you understand what's happening, you can put a bit more excitement into the voice. So
yes, exactly.
So a lot of those pre-records are done. I forget his name now, and I forget what site he done. It was a Dutch site though, and he does the Dutch announcements in the park.
Amazing. Where do we apply?
I remember this really well. So the colors of my website and my little avatar used to be that Mickey Mouse that's on the float for Magic on Parade. So that was the one that I remember as the Mickey Mouse. And I think, Magic Everywhere was the 20th anniversary, and it was all about celebrating 20 years of the magic and wonder. So... Oh, you've got the hat. You have the hat. People who are listening along, you don't know this. Mark is currently styling off the merchandise that he still has from the 20th anniversary.
Mickey Ears magician hats, yes.
This is terribly exciting. It was a terribly exciting year for the park. Like 2012 and 2012, I'm sure it begun. And it was a huge thing because they finally made some money and had massive income, and they done an earnings call because it was still Euro Disney at the time, and they announced they were going to redo, they were going to open this brand new shop, they were going to have that we would now know as World of Disney.
Oh yeah.
And they spoke about how they needed more premium experiences. You know, the hotels, they were short of premium rooms, and this, I remember, being a big topic back there. I remember some podcasts on it. In fact, it will have been this podcast, but 10 years ago, we're talking about how would they accomplish that. And now, of course, we know that they will do the Art of Marvel Hotel, which will be the upscaling of the Hotel New York to go from, I think they called it 4 magic keys at the time, but they've upgraded it now to the sort of 4+ magic keys, and the five key rooms, which are the themed rooms of the Art of Marvel Hotel. They
suites,
also added they added the Golden Forest Club to the Sequoia Lodge, and I forget the name of the club, but the one that's in the Newport, the Admiral's Club or something, Compass Club. What is it called?
Compass
It's
Club.
got a name. That
Can't-
might be
yeah.
it. So, yeah, I remember this well. Good topic.
And Bernardo, does
Well,
it
I'll
ring any
say,
bells?
He's like, I was
it
5,
does.
I'd have no idea.
No, oh, come on. I'm not that young, but no, it does ring some bells. I do not remember listening to the music itself, but it definitely sparked some images in my mind. Like I just remember that some of the floats in this parade were amazing. I remember the Toy Story float was like this huge thing filled with stuff happening, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
So
it had
yes,
Rex and Woody's and the aliens inside
yeah,
one of those
exactly.
cones.
Mhm.
But the weird thing about some of those floats are quite strange, because that particular Toy Story one, for example, at the back was Winnie the Pooh, and there was like a tree scene. So basically, they had this theme of storybooks. And so on one
Okay.
side of the book was Toy Story, and the other side of the book was Winnie the Pooh. And then they had another one, for example, where the front was the pirate ship from Peter Pan on top, Captain Hook
Mhm.
maybe, and then at the back they had Mary Poppins, which makes sense because it's London is a central theme to it. But there were others that
Okay.
were a little bit strange.
A strange mix of properties. So yeah.
Yes, yes. And I remember very well from that particular parade is fairy godmothers on roller skates, or maybe they were on segways.
Segways.
You
I
couldn't
think they
see that.
were, yeah. They had
Oh my
segways.
And it was a
god.
great effect because their frocks were to the ground, so you couldn't see what they were on, but they were just rolling around, turning, and the kids loved it.
It was
It's
new at the
pretty
time, yeah.
creative. Yeah.
I think before the parade, about an hour before the parade, you got at least in the first year, you got the Casey Jr. styled train that used to drive down the park, and it done like the character.
Oh yes,
It was like it wasn't a parade, but it was almost like the train would just announce it was coming, and I'm pretty sure it ran to the Magic Everywhere theme as well, but it just sort of gunned it from.
it was going on all the time, and the thing is that it really stuck in your head. But the strange thing during the parade was that they would play the song, it would end. All the characters are dancing to it, including
Yeah.
Eeyore, like he was really happy for some reason. And then the song would stop, everybody froze. There was like a
And it started
5-second
again.
gap, and then it would start again. Magic everywhere. So the oddities of Disneyland Paris, ladies and gentlemen, but they're quite fun. I just wanted to bring up
You're
the song.
right. You're
Yeah.
right. I was thinking the only other time that happened, there was the song by the Decompressors. What was the Mickey's 90th song like? We're having a good time. That done that as well. During the show, it would just stop, and then the characters would still be dancing while it sort of rebooted and came back in. It was quite good.
They finally found out how to crossfades into one another or loop things. But I just wanted to ask you, as far as Disneyland Paris songs go, because this was specifically made for this 20th anniversary, the anniversary before the 15th anniversary, they had a song specifically made for Disneyland Paris, and we've had anniversary songs ever since. In the grand scheme of things, have they remained the same? Have they become better? Do you have a favorite one?
I think they've they're different. Not necessarily better or worse, but just different. Like the 30th anniversary, it was like very pop songish, you know. Um, I think it's a different style and a different approach. A lot of people loved the 30th parades and the Dream and Shine Brighter stuff. I personally wasn't that big of a fan. I prefer a more traditional parade. But yeah, so I think they've evolved and it's kind of different. I think a mix of both could possibly be the best route they could take.
Disneyland
Yeah.
Paris are rubbing their hands that you've just said you enjoy a more traditional steady parade, because it means they're going to get to keep Stars on Parade another decade. Because Bernardo's like, enough of this modern stuff, we're needing to go back to Stars on Parade.
Stars on Parade.
It's been a
Young
solid.
people want traditional.
Yeah, they're wanting Stars on Parade again. We can run it for a 22nd year.
Half of the floats are running in at half capacity, but I mean, who cares, right?
He wants
traditional.
he wants that old Circle Vision thing. He wants the old Space Mountain, and he wants Stars on Parade. What's the point in building anything new for this guy? You do hit on a good one though. It's interesting because each one that comes, I think, gets better and better. The odd thing is, I couldn't actually tell you that the current one doesn't resonate with me at all, but there's three that resonate with me. One's a feeling, and that's the one for Jungle Book Jive, and that was less about the song and less about the music, but just Jungle Book Jive was incredible to be part of. It was definitely one of the,
like an Indian drummer band as well, right?
It was just a sensational experience. It wasn't totally Disney, but it was very experiential, and I think I'll never kind of forget that. The second one is I really liked. I think it was Mickey's 90th birthday, and we done it. It's a Good Time. It's a fantastic song. It's still used across Disney parks across the world. It occasionally is in parades. It's often in shows. It always gets dropped in at Christmas and New Year reviews. So it, like when they do the sort of special castle shows for them, It's a Good Time's going to be in there because it always is.
The music from the Disneyland show, the Mickey Mix Magic or something like that.
Welcome to the party. It's the time of the year.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
exactly.
That drops into every
good time.
Yeah. See, everybody knows it because it's in every park worldwide. It just, that was originally mixed for Disneyland Paris and just spread across the world and became, I think it was, was it not? It was Mickey's Mix Magic. Was that what went on at California? They had it in California and they were projecting it on Main Street.
Yeah.
It was so good. So that one, and then I think the other one is, Ready for the Ride was just spectacular. And I'm sorry, Bernardo, but you're wrong. That was cooler than the main parade.
No, I really do like the Ready for the Ride music. The Monkey Seizing Me is just, I don't love the the original version of that.
The Monkey Seizing Me can definitely that's definitely like, there was two, and that one was definitely the B tier one. But Ready for the Ride was the A tier song.
Ready for the Ride was it was fun.
Everybody's now typing "The Monkey Seizing Me" on YouTube. Where is it? Where is this video?
The Monkey Seizing Me. I actually think it works as well. I'm going to do that while you do the next bit. I'm going to check that if you can get that.
Disneyland Paris, The Monkey Seizing Me.
Can either of you sing the song that accompanies A Million Splashes of Color Parade?
No.
Oh gosh, I have no clue.
If you Google "What the Monkey Sees in Me," you can absolutely get it. Reddit has the song after Illuminations. So there you go.
You, Reddit.
You can Google it.
That was part one of our DLP Past, Present and Future discussion with Graham and Bernardo of the Disney Discord. Join us again next week for part two, when we will be diving into present and future topics such as Inside Ears, Big Thunder Mountain, and of course Disney Adventure World. Until then, you can also follow our posts and get involved on our Instagram and Facebook feeds, plus view some of our podcasts on YouTube. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can also email us at dlp@dedicatedtodlp.com and check out our website. Finally, apologies to Beth for not mentioning Fort Comstock in this episode. Thank you for listening.